YouTube, what's going on? My name is Marcus Maldonado. I'm at the Rio_Maldo Smash on Instagram, and I'm starting a new YouTube channel. I want a place where I can talk about all the things that get me excited, that get me up in the morning, the things that keep me out of the depression cave, just all the things. I want to talk about all the things. Now, I know you're probably thinking to yourself, Marcus, you need to niche down. All right, everybody knows that. Well, I don't want to do that. I tried it. I just get bored. So if I'm not gonna do it, then I'm not gonna have a channel anyway. So I might as well just talk about what I want to talk about. That being said, the things that I do enjoy, the things that get my juices flowing, generally if I boil these things down and get to the root of why they resonate with me, why I'm attracted to them, they fall into like 3 different categories and 3 different buckets. We'll call them 3 buckets, right? And those buckets are creative, process, and development. And I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper into those and explain what I mean by that. So creative is probably the most self-explanatory one. And it's honestly probably my biggest bucket, or the most important bucket to me, is creative, because I mean, that's how I identify as a creative person. And that's the kind of stuff that I always need more of. When I get down and when I'm feeling not so mentally great, it's usually because I need to do something that feeds that part of my brain. So in the creative bucket, we have the things that you would expect in a creative bucket. We have, filmmaking, we have photography are the 2 biggest ones. Music, I used to be super into like DJing and music stuff when I was in high school. And recently I've kind of dipped my toe into it a little bit because I think it could help with my other interests. And I think it's something that I can do in the winter and kind of, keep me out of that winter blues period that I go through when it's always dark outside. So there's that. There's also cooking, making stuff out of wood. And then of course I dabble in making adult beverages, those sweet cocktails. So that's it. It's a creative bucket. Those are the kind of things that fuel my creative, hungers. So moving on, let's get into this process bucket and what I mean by it. The process bucket has a lot of overlap with the creative bucket. I think it deserves its own place because the things that I'm interested in process, they are related to the same activity, but they're different. So we're talking about process. The easiest way I can explain it is making coffee. I love coffee. I like to try different ways of making coffee. But for me, I'm not a coffee artist. It's not a creative thing for me. It's a process thing. Like, I'm trying to perfect a process. I'm trying to get really good at the skill of making good coffee. So in a lot of the other things that have overlap, there's skills in there that in my mind aren't the creative part. They're the process, the skills part. So the skills of making films, the skills of making photography, the technical things, the things that you want to get good enough at that you don't think about, so that the creative stuff can take over. So your creative mind can take the wheel, meanwhile your skills are just on autopilot because you're good at them. Those are the process things. So in the process bucket, of course, there's filmmaking, there's photography, there's cooking, because for me cooking is primarily like a process thing. I go off the dome and, you know, do my own thing every once in a while, and that's creative. But for the most part, I'm watching people that are better than me, people that are creative, people that are, you know, that's job it is to cook. They're food artists. I'm following what they do and I'm trying to copy what they do. So for me, it's more of a process type thing. And then making drinks, of course. I typically follow some kind of recipe when I'm making a drink, so it's not so much me thinking up new drinks and executing them. It's me following a recipe, and then maybe if it's not quite what I want, maybe then trying to, you know, think through how do I tweak this to make it better. So yeah, those are the kind of things that fall into that process bucket for me. Last but definitely not least is the development bucket. And for development, I'm talking about anything that makes you better as a person, that makes your relationships better, that makes you the best version of yourself right now. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So in that, we're talking about fitness, talking about health, mental well-being, minimalism. Yeah, those are the kinds of things that I put in the development bucket. Basically, just anything that involves making you a better person, or me a better person, because we're talking about me. And if it applies to you, then I'm happy. But I can't talk about anyone else's experience but my own. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's it. That's all I got. If that was good for you, maybe hit that subscribe button, but no pressure. I appreciate it if you made it this far, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.